Something I was struggling through with this run of games is just literally paying attention to the game.
Hmm.
I just kind of like get absolutely distracted and by other things on my mind.
No, that's all right.
So there might be a couple points in the game where I just don't do anything for a bit. I can't remember which game was the worst, but yeah.
I don't remember any of that in this one, but we'll
Okay,
we'll
cool.
we'll gloss over, whatever.
Yeah.
I do remember some of the things I wanted to talk about.
I also remember a really bad sea battle where I was trying to do something and I couldn't work out, and I just got so frustrated that I just full sended it, and it just didn't work out.
There was some full sending that I thought was probably not the right full sending. So you're
Yeah, it
doing
was a
the.
bit like I just need to do this. I was like, I need to build a energy storage at some point, but I'm not sure how. You
Mhm.
usually build a solar, right?
So
Because you've got plenty of
normally I get
metal.
2 wins from this guy,
Ah, that's
um,
right. Okay.
and build the solar, but it doesn't really matter. So um, one of the guys I play with every now and then has tested. Well, he played actually against me, doing 5 mechs walk into bot lab, building his own wins
Yeah.
and energy storage, and it was still really strong.
Okay.
Um, yeah, do you? I would always recommend getting a scout. Super
And
recommend.
Scout. Yeah.
Transport is doesn't have to be. Always get a scout. So good. Um,
Yeah.
if nothing else, you know if this is hovers, and
Mm.
that makes a huge difference to what you're gonna do. Um, it's all fine. If you've got this, I might be tempted to move out a bit earlier. So with a single,
Yeah.
um, yeah, about 200, 180 to 200 energy is all you need for like your base maxes.
Yeah.
I would walk my commander immediately to here. I don't know if you did that or not
Okay.
at this point.
No, I think I idled him and forgot about it, and I was
Mhm.
like, wait.
You do idle for a bit. It's fine. I don't love dolphins, I'll be honest. I'll slow down a bit.
Yeah.
I like this. I
I
think you could have saved that skater if you'd been a little bit more on it.
probably.
If you just gone straight
Yeah.
this way and you just spotted this. But it's not a huge deal. Killing that con is probably worth it.
Yeah.
You
And
can
my
see he's
com
starting
could
to
have
float.
probably
Yeah,
been either nearly at the island or already on the
it could have
island
been
for
around
how
here.
long it idled.
Yeah.
Um,
So we're kind of getting to the points of that are important. So dolphins trade really badly into frigates.
yeah.
Um, it's just like an awful fight for them.
And coming in along the coast, I've come in full envision.
Yeah,
And my frigates are a really long way
yeah,
behind,
they're
so not
trading
only
behind.
is it a bad
Yeah,
unit choice, um,
yeah. So
yeah.
dolphins aren't inherently bad.
Mm.
Like the value of speed in their high DPS is still valuable.
Yeah.
But you can't take a
Part of the
fight
problem with
directly into
there is I
frigates.
didn't have vision. I wouldn't have
Yeah,
directly taken that fight deliberately.
yeah,
I just ran into it and then took too long to realize I'd run into it.
yeah. That's everybody does that. A number of
Yeah.
times I've lost the sea because I stopped paying attention for like 3 seconds,
Yeah.
and he gets a really good engage because of it, and I just have to back out. And
Yeah.
securing the mexes is fine. Um, so one of the things ARM is really good for, their subs are amazing. As I see
Yeah.
you're building one. I'd have liked a much earlier submarine. Um,
Okay.
they outrun everything Core has, basically.
Okay.
They're a little bit slower than the frigates, but they outrun destroyers. So if you
Yeah.
turn around immediately on seeing a destroyer, you can pretty much always escape, which of course is
Yeah.
incredibly frustrating to deal with.
Yeah.
Um,
Also bad macro here.
it's okay. So Elisaurs like broadsiding. Um,
They do, but the big problem was that one was in range of all of his, and
mhm,
then most of mine weren't in
yeah,
range. Um,
I think only this frigate wasn't shooting. I think everything else was shooting.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, you need
Compared to how many
yeah,
units of his were
yeah.
shooting.
I mean, it was more
Um,
need that it was a bad engage rather than a micro. Um,
yeah,
he
that
just
too.
has the unit mass.
Yeah.
Um,
So hard to maintain vision on sea.
so it really is. That's part of the
The
reason.
scouts aren't actually fast, which means they just get caught and then they don't have
Mhm,
the vision to make up for it. And then
mhm.
radars are so expensive.
Yeah.
Like the radar on scouts was actually added in direct response to me saying it's like, please take away the anti-air and gun and put it on another ship, just so that we can afford something that has vision.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so they just gave it radar and ignored everything else I said, which
So
completely does not solve the problem,
the
as far as I
skater,
can
the
tell.
skater is probably the best T1C unit. Um,
Okay.
it's fast. It can 1v1
Yeah.
supporter and herring, and it's stealthy.
Yeah.
Um, so
The
it
thing is, I just want a more dedicated vision thing that's
yeah.
better at vision in a place where it's like it would be a, um like it has barely more vision than a destroyer. So if it and the destroyer are going towards each other, it's like by the time, especially at my high ping from playing from
Mhm,
Australia, by the time it can see that there's a destroyer there, the destroyer's already firing at it
mhm.
and in
It's
range, and then it has to turn around and stays in range.
yeah.
Um,
50% more
and
line of
that's
sight,
just
but yes, it's not much more than the.
um
It is
yeah,
slightly yeah.
assume that the destroyer also has
Yeah,
vision with it.
yeah.
Um, but
But yes, it's only slightly more range than slightly more vision than destroyer
yeah,
range.
and so
So
either I'd like something faster or something with more vision, and I'd be more than happy to have a ship that doesn't have anti-air and doesn't have gun and just has more vision. I'd love that,
yeah.
but
So personally, I quite
oh well.
like the battle over vision. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I quite enjoy it, but yes, it does mean that it does slow down the play. That's for sure.
yeah,
Um, as I I'm fine with this mostly. I think I would just
yeah.
pack this con out.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't realize he had two destroyers at that point, and so I was like, I'm even enough.
mhm,
And that's when I start building up the Dolphins for the flank. I could have
mhm,
actually just already been running straight at his base. There
yeah,
would probably been a better option.
yeah.
Um,
For something like
and I
this,
that sub's all right,
yeah,
also on its way to
yeah.
his mexes.
So one of the things you can remember about with scouts, with the skaters in particular, you can have one just sitting here
Yeah.
or here, and he can't see them
Okay. Oh
because
yeah, because no,
it's
it's
stealthy.
yeah, stealthy.
So they're
It's a
really
good point.
good for denying vision
Mm,
to the enemy, and they're
yeah,
really good for. I played against a guy who was really annoying. He just sat three skaters here and just ran in and killed all my BP and then ran away again.
yeah.
And I don't have anything. The only thing I have fast enough to catch it is supporters. And
Mm,
like, if you're making supporters, you're making supporters, and they're useless for everything else.
yeah.
Um, so mixing in a few skaters, um, and just having them. You could have one sitting here, seeing when his units are moving out,
Mm, yeah.
um, and then you know exactly when you can come in, and just have a
Yeah.
couple with the dolphins. Makes a huge difference. Um, this is a big problem in sea, is that the pork is terrible.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like designed for land combat.
yeah. Um, so
Needed radar with the army, then I could have been picking off reinforcements.
yeah, yeah. With a skater here would have been fantastic for you, a skater or two.
Yeah.
Um,
And would also opened up again
yeah,
the run into his space.
yeah, exactly. It's not for nothing I call them the number one C unit. So you make a big mistake
Yeah.
here. You cannot take this fight.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I think just in terms of absolute metal, 3015, 3600, he outweighs you in just metal.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a really good flank. So like,
Mm.
if he wasn't moving away from your dolphins, this would be good. If he
Yeah.
was moving into your dolphins, this would be good. But he's kiting away from your dolphins, and that's exactly where they don't want to be. I did some
Yeah. And
testing.
I'm already in range.
Yeah, I did some testing, and one frigate can kill 3 dolphins if it's
Mm.
just running away.
What I
Um,
was wanting and trying to do was pin him against the coast,
mhm,
but I'm far too far south for that.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I can see what you're going for. Um,
yeah.
so what I would have been tempted is you're pushing him this direction, just peel off and swing this
Yeah.
way. You're ahead of his main
Yeah.
fleet if you move this direction. So you're always going to you're going to find some reinforcements. If he
Yeah.
pulls up units here, you could just swing back out again.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I would like here in this situation.
So repeat that again there.
So instead of trying to go in here,
Yeah.
you can pull this fleet away,
Yeah.
and just bring these down this way.
Yeah.
He's not going to want to chase you because chasing is nobody likes chasing on sea. He could kill this,
Yeah. Mm.
but you can't stop him killing this anyway, other than by not being there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you bring these down this way, you're way ahead of his main fleet.
Yeah.
You're going to find single frigates, single destroyers even, and dolphins love fighting destroyers.
Yeah. And or just bypass and absolutely
Yeah.
destroy the base.
Yeah.
Um,
He loses all this. He probably
Yeah.
just loses the sea.
Yeah. Which is usually how dolphins on sea have worked for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It's like if he pushes at me, I can kill him way before he can kill me.
Yeah.
And then because I anticipate that I can have my commander elsewhere on the map, throw down another sea factory, and then get my army back
Mhm.
before he can hunt down my commander
Yeah.
and then go and combat his army.
Yeah.
While having like the speed to keep him from like re-entering sea.
Yeah. So there's also one other thing you're missing that's super important.
Yeah.
You don't have any res subs.
Yes.
So I'm really bad at this as well. But like,
Mm.
how much metal is here? There's
Yeah,
600
well,
metal.
because
You can't
part of
necessarily
it
get
I
all of
had a
it.
constructor over there and I didn't
Yeah.
want to spend it extra on another constructor, but then I lost the constructor.
Yeah.
Because I didn't just run it away.
Yeah. Just have a res sub. Like,
Right.
my play,
Because
I've
that'd also
started
be
doing.
harder to see the res
Yeah.
sub, right?
Yeah.
So it's
You can
easier
just
to sneak
have
and
it.
get reclaimed.
Just have it sitting somewhere over here.
Yeah. Okay.
And but yeah, my play has been massively improved by me going like fourth boat is a res sub.
Okay. Cool.
Not on like lane maps, but on a big sea like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to really go any better, but with dolphins than that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a terrible fight. Of like considering
No.
the
I
situation,
was
but
lucky how much damage I managed to do and how little damage I managed to take.
Yeah.
And that he let me just slide right out of there. But
Yeah.
I still didn't do as much as I took.
Yeah, it was 3 dolphins for 1
Um,
frigate, which
yeah.
is not a good trade.
And it was an already low frigate.
Yeah. But yes.
And I could be reclaiming already.
Yeah, you could be you couldn't necessarily get all of it because with the destroyers he does have control over the reclaim.
Yeah.
As you can see, he's right in.
Yeah,
But yeah, the thing is generally if you don't have a res sub in the area, you don't want to take a fight, particularly one where you're not going to trade, like with dolphins.
Yeah. I think at the back of my mind actually, there was this idea that I surely had more units than him. To my sub.
I probably got caught by this destroyer I guess.
Oh, and he's rebuilding his mechs. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It got caught by a destroyer. I don't know exactly where, but
not yet. I think it's still alive.
oh yeah, so it
It's
is.
over
Yeah, it got
there.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, it sticks around for quite because I queued it around and just out.
Yeah. That's
Um,
exactly the correct thing to do.
yeah. But if I'd have killed its destroyers or something, I could have actually pulled it over to the battle, which would have been
Yeah.
good.
Having a sub or two around is really valuable. Like it can,
Yeah,
like because it's fast, it can just come in and kill this thing. You don't have any sonar as well
yeah,
because the other important thing about the skaters of the sonar,
mm,
you don't have anything that spots this.
yeah. Except for noticing that the reclaim's
Yeah,
disappearing.
exactly.
I think part of the mistake I made was like I killed his constructor and I assumed he'd just have less army, but because he actually
Mhm.
pulled out his constructor safely, his early constructor pulled it out of the cove.
Yeah.
He actually had a constructor around that he used to put get all the reclaim in his base
Mhm.
and and chuck out a bunch of army.
Yeah. The other thing to remember is, of course, that on that the lab itself has a very high amount of build power for a lab. It's
Yeah,
165.
yeah.
Lab on its own.
That's the other mistake. I don't know if I did this earlier, but I had my factory idle for a time, I think. And then I also accidentally pulled all my constructors off it later.
I
Um,
think you've accidentally done that now.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
So
I would.
that's what reminded me about it.
Yeah, I would never have this. So generally, as a queue, I would have. It's going to vary depending on the game state, but generally it would be 2 frigates, destroyer, skater, res sub,
Yeah.
on a repeat queue.
Okay.
So it's going to vary depending on how I'm feeling about playing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
that's
probably
like
left there because
yeah,
at this point I'm like, I don't know what to do.
yeah, yeah. That's like my
Like, is it
standard would
even
be that.
worth trying to recover C? I think part of the idea I had here was like, I'm going to walk my commander across the map and then I'm going to,
Mhm.
um, run in with the Dolphins, but then I end up not committing to that.
Mhm. So from what I remember, you end up still being reasonably even for a little while yet.
Okay.
He can kill you here. I think he is a little bit idle. This sub use is pretty good. You're preventing him getting this.
Yeah.
Um,
I should have pulled it out again to prevent like rogue destroyers just running
yeah,
across.
because you know he's going to be coming this sort of direction.
Yeah.
So if you just move over here somewhere,
Or at
um,
least trying to flush me out intentionally. It's like I should be hiding somewhere rather than doing that. It does stay alive, but I lose
yeah.
a lot of health.
Oh yeah, if you'd kept on running, you'd have been fine. I think you're
Mm,
still fine actually. Oh, you're going to run into
yeah.
this one.
I think I get it out
Um,
for actually quite some time.
yeah. So one of the things Commander's really useful. Just build a radar here.
Yeah.
Radars are really expensive, and I hate building. Like I feel so bad every time I have to build a radar on sea, but
Yeah.
it's 100% worth it.
If I'd have had a race up the entire time he's chasing me, I could have been reclaiming.
Yeah. And how much have we got here?
Actually, wait, do
So
I have a rest
19.
up?
There's 1900 metal. You do have one, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's idle.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1900 metal here.
Yeah.
That's probably the difference in between what 14 and 17. He's further ahead now. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's had his oh no, his
Yeah,
T2
his
spelled about the
TT1 is
same as I have.
similar time. Yeah, he's got no conversion. He might have got in a bit earlier and had his mexes up slightly sooner, but
Slightly, yeah, but then I'm walking over
it's pretty
now.
similar.
I'm a lot lower in energy though. I don't have the energy to run
18.
the additional.
Yeah. Yes. Generally, 400-ish energy is about right for late for when you're getting your mexes up. I
Yeah.
think. Um,
I thought I had him distracted with my commander, but he's got too many in the base,
yeah.
even without the reinforcements coming in.
With just these couple, you'd have been fine. You could have done it. But I think with his commander as well, there wasn't really much
Yeah.
point going for it. You probably
Yeah.
hadn't spotted his commander going back, I don't think.
No, I didn't. I just assumed it was still on the island.
Yeah, from this point, it's definitely over.
Yeah.
The other time was recoverable, particularly with him giving up all this reclaim. Well, and
Yeah.
your sub denying him taking it was very significant.
Yeah.
You never take your mexes back, but that's usable. You're distracted. I often forget things like that. Yeah,
And
definitely.
I very much more need energy production.
Yeah. So one of the things I see people do a lot, well, that I do as well, build a radar here with your commander. I've seen people build it up here as well, but it's
Yeah.
a bit of a pain to get to. Yeah, get the radar on the land before you leave.
Yeah, good point. Sea radar is so crazy expensive.
It doesn't seem like much when you sort of look at, oh, it's only 130. And you realize, oh wait, it's like double land radar.
More than double.
Land radar is 75.
Wait, what? I thought it was 60. Or,
60. It is 60.
yeah, 60.
I remember it being 75. Maybe the core one is different. Maybe I'm just going mad. I could have sworn it was 75.
You were always mad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, more than double.
Mm.
Um,
I saw that his units were spread out, but they weren't spread out enough, I think.
So this is a good fight. Yes, they weren't quite. The main problem actually was that they were hugging the wall.
Yeah.
And that you kind of stopped halfway.
Okay.
So.
But I felt like I lost like so many units for just the 3 frigates. Because the destroyers were still like in range of me.
So destroyers in general don't kill dolphins very well.
Okay.
Like yes, when they shoot at them, they'll do the goodness, but this was overall like a really good fight for you. Somebody in spec actually comments on it. But like you killed all of those frigates.
If I hadn't been energy stalling, I could have won that kind of a thing.
Yeah. So yeah, it was he took that fight really badly. You could have taken it better.
Yeah, if I just committed to it. That's a good point.
I'd like to go back and see it. I really wish I could replay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't worry about the rest of it. But yeah. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, assuming mid is in a good position, good strong position, and because we're in theory winning West C as well. I think it's like really terrible that we don't really end up ever securing that West C, even with 2 people in it. Like, what would be my approach here? Because my first thought is like rush out an air constructor, get the reclaim, and then I don't know, eco. Someone said pelicans, and I tried to put them out, but there was like they didn't do much. Platypus.
Yeah, platypus.
They used to be called pelicans.
Yeah. So my general thoughts on when I lose as GOC is I want to make this guy waste as much metal as possible doing things that are useless.
Okay.
Normally I'm playing core, so what I'll do is I'll stick a lab here. If he's got units here, I'll make like 2 or 3 Sheldons and push him back. And I'll make like 10 ducks and nothing more than that. and I'll just
Yeah.
octopus my way out.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
make useless units like cruisers, because there's 1,000 metal on a unit that doesn't do anything
Yeah.
other than fight ducks.
Okay.
And so every one of those is 4 of those is not a fusion or whatever it is,
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so that's my first thought.
Yeah. What did
My
I do from here?
I don't remember.
If you can just speed it up and
Yeah, a 3k of dolphins ain't like 5k. It was really
yeah.
close to being. If you hadn't been quite so in such a bad spot, it would have been really good, really strong.
Yeah.
Um, so you get some ducks. Unfortunately, the ducks you need to push the destroyers away or distract him. So one of the things I would be
Yeah.
tempted to do is just build a lab over here. Don't commit to it, but just make the
Okay.
lab.
Yeah, and make him go over there
Yeah.
and pull him away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So normally what I'm doing is I'm happy to spend those 600 metal, 800 or whatever for build power to pull
Yeah.
him around.
Yeah, especially because I would have got reclaim off the back of that.
Yeah. I'm happy to spend that level of effort. So one thing about the Gauss, this is fine.
I mean,
Normally you can build them a little further back, just outside of destroyer range, and still guard the shore.
also at this point, I could have just dropped a factory for platypus right now.
Yeah.
I'm building up build power, and then I'm going to do that.
Scaling, yeah, that's fine.
Or I mean, those constructors could have just gone straight to factory platypus.
Yeah, they could.
Rather than trying to scale.
I think, yeah, you'd struggle to get out enough platypus to have been relevant on the economy you're on.
Right.
Yeah. They kind of want overwhelming mass.
Yeah. I mean, but considering that the alternative is that he spends and builds a flagship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I do eventually get a bunch out, but if I'd have had more earlier, then I think I could have done more with that.
Yeah. So this is one of the things I'm talking about. Is like you didn't need all of them here. They're never gonna. They can't fight things. Like if you look at their actual water DPS, they do 41 DPS with their torpedoes.
Right.
It's so bad damage. Their value is that they're hard to kill. Basically, they have like land health pools for underwater units, which is completely unreasonable because depth charges suck.
Yeah.
So you can have a couple of them stay here, kill these. This is killing these red subs is great.
Yeah.
And the other two just go la di da di da, la di da. Go up here, kill these mexes, whatever,
Yeah.
Piss him off.
Yeah, because then he has to hunt them down and find them, which is really hard.
Yeah. But they're not going to fight destroyers well.
Yeah. I very much overestimated their ability there.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. That's why it takes me so long to get my ducks out.
Platies.
Yeah, and at this point I realized that we didn't have much of an airplay this game.
Yes, he did say he was trying to do a win build and struggled.
Yeah.
He's trying to do a new build. Yeah.
Right.
Getting a prude up is a good plan. I like it. Yeah, I mean, this is a reasonable amount of platies to go out for something like this.
Yeah.
Going up the island is pretty good. It's a good choice.
Yeah.
Pulling him around.
Yeah, but at this point, doesn't he already have, like... no, he's building it.
Yeah.
and just got the cruisers.
He probably would have ended up doing that anyway. I think you couldn't really
Yeah,
stop it. Maybe if you'd had those ducks being more annoying, but I don't think you could do much with the Platies about
yeah,
it. Um,
yeah,
preventing him getting slowing him down in the reclaim would helped a lot if you'd managed to get more of it yourself.
yeah,
Um, but he's going to be so far ahead at this point from having all the C-Mexes and all the reclaim.
yeah.
That without support,
As
you
proud
aren't
of
going to stop the
myself, I got the
faction.
reclaim on the island with my air factory.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I liked it. This game overall, I think, was pretty rough.
Yeah,
You had this guy's Geo player, who's didn't do very much.
yeah,
Nico player was not strong. It's just overall a bit of a struggle, but it's fine.
yeah. I noticed a few times in that that batch of games had two players had the Geo player go full C rather than supporting land. Bridge
Mhm.
just crumbled and they did nothing C.
Yeah.
So it's not something I've seen before, so it seems like a new thing they're just trying because I've noticed that the Cs are really important.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really seems to work. I'm not sure why, other than the fact it's like only 4 additional mexes compared to like the 6+ mexes you might have
Yeah.
already on C.
Well, I mean, these mexes here are so much more valuable than the C mexes.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good
it's
point.
five mexes at 2.3 compared to 6 at 4.3.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's like they haven't even pushed him out of C.
yeah.
Like they haven't even
This
pushed
is
like
this is
one of the weaker players on the team.
they did push the GOC guy out, um, but
Okay.
the pawn player is keeping them busy. Um,
Yeah.
he Geo player died to something. I couldn't tell you what. I wasn't paying attention. Um,
Bombers, I believe.
that seems likely.
Yeah.
But yes. So the one thing I would have said
Okay.
is about the Platies. It's not a particularly significant thing, but don't fight the
Yeah.
cruisers. Cruisers are shit because they're slow as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like you killed one of them. Just keep running. You
Yeah.
could have killed this build power. You could possibly have killed this.
Well, yeah, the problem was I had to go through them. He had a bunch of them, and so I just
Yeah.
pulled out because like there were too many there. And
So
the problem right there is that I'm completely idling. I've forgotten about them. I thought I put them on land, and I'm focusing trying to rebuild after the bomb.
I mean, so there was a window you had specifically when you killed this
Okay.
cruiser. He had one here, and he had a line of them here. You could have run through.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and
Okay.
my thoughts on platypus is like you aren't gonna find they aren't gonna do
What's
anything useful other than that.
yeah.
Um,
Okay. What's the speed comparison?
they're 90 to 54.
90 to 54. Okay.
Um, so it's pretty
Okay, that's
significant.
pretty good.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I put Platies as high A tier of a unit, largely because
Yeah.
of their speed. They're not good at fighting anything that can fight back, but they've got decent
Yeah.
AA. They do actually decently versus T1 spam, like not terribly.
Yeah.
And they're fast
How
as balls. Yeah, carry on.
how are ducks in this situation against the cruisers?
Um, cruisers mildly outtrade ducks if they're
Okay.
using only depth charges. If he's
Yeah.
microing actively, ducks are even worse because their torpedoes aren't homing.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't like I use ducks for two things. One, three things. If you have a T2 lab and you want to help a C
Mm.
player, making ducks is not the worst choice.
Yeah.
Just spam a bunch of ducks into a C. It gives an extra problem for him to deal with that he has to work out.
Mm.
not as good against T2, works decently well against T1.
Okay.
Second thing is what I said before, being an annoying bastard. And the third thing is, if you have a lot of eco, you can't get a lab down, you can make like 30 ducks on land, go into the sea, force him back,
Yeah.
and then make a sea lab.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
those are what I'd use ducks for. Yeah.
Okay.
That's also incidentally what I would use various hovers for. T3 hovers and the normal hovers. Use them to push him back so you can make actually good units.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I think that's all we really can get from this. You're going to die to a flagship steadily, and there's not really much you can do about it. He's just too far ahead.
Yeah. The entire team's too far ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very much true.
I mean, if Tacker had been pushing like these marauders through the air curve,
Yeah.
but it got something out of it.
He's massively behind anyway. I don't know what's happened to him.
Yes.
Maybe he got bombed really hard or something. But
It's also just a weak player.
yeah. But yes, he should. This is ridiculously far behind.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's about all we got. That 1v1 that somebody suggested.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you wanna summarize what you feel like you have learned?
A little bit of patience, especially on those battles, and playing more to my strengths with the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Battle started.
Res subs and make use of the res sub when I have it already.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that applies to the platypus too, with the speed, like running past and making use of the speed, avoiding the battle rather than engaging.
Yep.
And being annoying in that sort of a sense. Especially because he is notoriously hard to work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then yeah, so mostly like don't idle and use speed when I have speed.
Yeah. More careful with your engagements as well, I think.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.